Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race Race and Strategy Guide. We're off to Autopolis International Full Course for I think the 6th or 7th time in Gran Turismo 7's Daily Race history, and we're in the Toyota Gr86 from 2021. We've got 7 laps to get round, tyre wear at times 1, fuel at times 1. The Sport Soft tyres are available. There's no mandatory rules in terms of pit stops, tyre changes, anything like that. BOP is on, damage is heavy, that should raise a few eyebrows. We have a grid start with a false start check, and slipstream is real. In terms of your car settings, there is none allowed, not even brake balance in this one. Now, I'm not going to waste too much of your time on this one. It's just a very short video, just under 6 minutes. It's more like a record of the race than anything else, because this really is a contender for the worst daily race in history. And I include both GT Sport and GT7 when I make that estimation. But let's jump onto the grid for the 7 o'clock race, as we always do on Monday morning, and discuss the reasons why this race is going to be dead very quickly. Now, there is a couple of things about it that are okay. We have the grid start with the false start check. Now I've put traction control on 1 here, but I was a bit slow in the reactions once things got underway. There's a couple of cars up ahead that made a false start. We've got Gr86 here in the white Gr86. Now you can choose your own car, you can put your own custom livery on it, but yeah, a grid start at least means there is a little bit of action going down into turn 1. But remember, we have damage on heavy, so any big contacts in the early stages is going to mean that you run damage for the entirety of the race, because a pit stop's probably going to take about 30 seconds. Even if your car is broken in all 4 corners, you're probably as well just staying out, losing 3 seconds per lap. It's only a 7 lap race, but yeah, grid start, I think they should use a bit more often at certain tracks, even in Group 3 and Group 4, just to give us that first lap chaos. Now everybody's been relatively sensible here. We do have a Greek driver off the track, which is going to put us up into P11. Tidgney starting at the back as well. A few of the TCR boys in this one. Sonic up at the front, Shelty in P3, Mario Sonic's there as well. So pretty high quality grid, to be fair, for 7 o'clock. Now I did no practice whatsoever. I did about half a lap, realised the car was pretty sketchy, and turned active stability management on just to make sure I could get around the track. I don't mind running that as an assist on road cars, because every single road car out there runs a similar program. And yeah, the back end of this one there's a lot of slip angle to play with on it. It's not like you'll lose control of the car, but the back end does want to move about, so I was kind of just wanting to have a little bit more control over that as I found my feet. But we're sort of slowly dropping back here up into P11 from, I think we started in I don't actually know how many cars actually started, but we're in P11. We started second last and we're up to P11. So let's just fast forward through here the rest of the first lap, and we're going to have a moment as we come into the hairpin here. Our active stability management not saving us in this example. Just got on the curb there, got on the power, had a little bit of a moment. I thought we were actually going to lose it completely, to be honest, but just when you lose the momentum in a car like this, just look at the gap open up to the car in front. The Italian nearly 1.5 seconds ahead of us by the time we managed to get a little bit of speed back up. And to be honest with you, it pretty much took me the rest of the race to catch back up to anybody. Now, we were gradually getting faster than a 207 on lap 1, obviously with that mistake, and getting down to a 206 flat. And I think we could easily get into the 205s, but that's a good second off the likes of what Tidgney were doing. Sonic was in a 205.0, Danny in P2 was in the 204s as well. But this race is very boring. There's nowhere to overtake on Autopolis. You're in a road car where, you know, the slipstream is very weak indeed. Now, that's not me asking for a stronger slipstream, but it's just the reality of driving in road cars. And well, the car handles quite nicely, and your braking zones are not that different from Group 4, maybe a kind of about 15% longer. So it's very difficult to overtake. It's kind of follow the leader. Now, there is a couple of drivers there that made some progress, like Tidgney and Danny, but that's just aliens versus mere mortals, that's what happens. And to compound it all, just to make things even just a little bit worse, it's a sub 15-minute race. So if you're streaming, you're waiting about between the races, and if you're not streaming, well, you're still waiting about between the races, but at least you can go and watch TV for 10 minutes before the next one starts. But will you do another race after you've done one of these? I'm not entirely sure. This genuinely is a contender for the worst daily race in history. It's very short, there's no strategy, you can't overtake, There's heavy damage if you get a little bit elbows out with other cars, which can ruin your race as well. There's no weather whatsoever from what I can tell. I jumped into the qualifying about 10 different times. The clouds were in the same place, so qualifying is certainly static weather. And the race looks to be no different from the one that I did, with the cloud remaining in the same place for the entire 7 laps. So it's a poor race. It's just not a daily race C. Now this car is good fun. I remember using this car at daily race A around the Nürburgring and Suzuka, so it was good fun. And this just feels like a slightly longer daily race A. But as a daily race C, definitely a contender for the worst of all time. Just terrible, folks, just terrible. I don't know what they were thinking. Will we stream it? I guess we'll maybe have a go at some point. But yeah, we'll leave it there, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.